I am Sheila, and welcome back to your Neurodive Corner. As always, thank you to our most recent subscribers in the channel. Thank you for joining, thank you for sharing and engaging with the videos. It is greatly appreciated. As always, this is a very small channel dedicated mostly to discussing neurodivergence and people that help neurodivergent individuals thrive. And also, we have some other like takes and commentary on the shorts that you guys can go and explore as well. Those are a little bit more fun and comedy inclined, and also more politically inclined in nature. So if that is something that rocks your boat, I guess. I just aged myself on that one. But no, if that's something that you think you might enjoy, please feel free to explore the whole channel. Um, Me being neurodivergent myself, my brain just kind of like works very different, and it's just always going from one thing to the next and exploring um, new things and new experiences. So that's the beauty of neurodivergence is, individuals can have a completely different perspective on things that people feel are common sense or solutions to problems that people would have never considered. So it is something very special. So today I want to talk a little bit about insecure attachments. And I know that might not sound like it's directly related to neurodivergence, but bear with me because it does have something to do with it, okay? So insecure attachments, right? It's pretty much has to do with how an individual builds relationships throughout their developmental milestones. Now, if we know a little bit about childhood development, uh, let me throw a little shout out to the chat. We have Ted just joined us. Hi, Ted. Thank you for joining the live. Please do all the good things. Hit the bell, hit the like, share with everybody. We are trying to build community in these times where it is rare to see empathy and sharing and community. So, getting back to the topic. So, insecure attachments, right? So, in human development, there are certain milestones and achievements that are related to certain age brackets and all of that. We are not doing a dive on child development today. However, we are going to talk about it from the perspective of bonding and attaching. So, obviously, the first couple of years of human behavior, especially the first year, we are the most dependent species in the world when we are born. So for the whole first year of a human, um, their developmental milestones have to be met by their caregiver. They are 100% dependent on a caregiver. And attachment starts as early as that first skin to skin contact, which is why hospitals now are very much encouraging parents and encouraging caregivers, adoptive parents, and all of that to experience that and to provide those spaces for those things to take place. Um, because it starts bonding and it starts building those healthy attachments that the brain then starts making connections and interpreting that as safe, as secure, as stable. So when our brain is developing, it obviously has a certain amount of neurons in there. Now, the amount of connections and pathways that those neurons have in the first 5 years of a human brain development are insane. They are in the billions. And as we continue to develop, a lot the brain starts kind of like pruning. It's almost like shaping a tree. So they start pruning those pathways that the brain no longer finds useful, needed, no longer used as frequently. They're not being practiced. So that's how the brain starts sort of like establishing pathway connections and creating certain behaviors and things like that. So when we're talking about insecure attachments, this creates a problem because a person that creates insecure attachments, and I'm going to pause real quick, I'm going to throw it back to the chat. Hi, M. Hello. Thank you for joining. Kevin Perez. Ooh, another Perez. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you for joining, Kevin. Appreciate you so much. Um, thank you for joining. Do all the good stuff. Hit the likes. Hit the bell. All of that. Share with your friends. Keep everybody coming. This is a channel to build community, to share together and learn together. So yeah, love all of you guys. Love the engagement. It's amazing. And if you have any questions, please, or comments, if you want to collaborate to the conversation, please feel free. Absolutely. So yeah, so again, insecure attachments in a human being can eventually start displaying certain behaviors that, believe it or not, are very similar to somebody that has autism, or they are in the autism spectrum. So when a person builds insecure attachments in those school ages, it is usually barely noticed because change in those domains happen slowly. So it could be interpreted as autism, because a lot of the children that have insecure attachments and are school age usually avoid socializing, have a tendency to not being able to regulate their emotions properly. They have very big feelings that can express in tantrums and anger, kind of like those explosive behaviors that we sometimes see in the autism spectrum. So that's one of the reasons why diagnosis is so important, and using several approaches when you're trying to diagnose a patient is incredibly vital to reaching the correct diagnosis and establishing the right interventions for a patient. So it is extremely important when you're doing diagnosis, or if you're a caregiver and you are um, getting your child or your patient diagnosed, it is extremely important to get those family histories very early on and as thorough as possible. Because again, if a child suffered any type of trauma or anything that interrupted their bonding process to their caregivers and other relations, a lot of the behaviors that they will display as a result of that trauma are gonna look like some diagnosis like autism. It could also look like ADHD and not necessarily be that. So that's why it's so important whenever we're talking about mental health that we take those first interviews and we actually take the time to take a thorough history from caregivers. It is incredibly important. It makes such a huge difference, honestly. And the earlier that you are able to identify what specifically is happening, because remember, these things can be co-occurring as well. You can have dual diagnosis. um, so it's important to have that history and knowing how to apply that in the diagnostic process. And when we are starting interventions like therapy, ABA, speech therapy, occupational, whatever other modalities or interventions we are putting in place. Let me see. Jesus loves you, sister. Oh, I know. I know. I'm pretty sure. I might not be his favorite child though, but I'm pretty sure he loves you. He loves me. Uh, who else am I seeing in the chat? Teal Stingray. I like the name. He says if anyone can guess my religion, I'll give him 500. Jesus Christ. I guess if I get close, will you give me 200? Um Thank you. Thank you for joining the live. Please do all the good stuff. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, all of that stuff. Share with your friends, all of that. Let me see, who else do I have? Nope, never mind, sorry. Trust me, ain't nobody trying to be giving money these days. Not in this current political climate. But again, my Cash App is in the description, so if anybody feels inclined to help this social worker, this autism specialist that is always paycheck to paycheck, you are more than welcome. Other than that, again, thank you for joining. Let me know any other topics you guys would like to discuss. I might do a follow up on attachment and dive a little bit deeper into child development in a different video. But I just wanted to kind of like share some of the similarities that different circumstances and diagnosis can have. So, with that, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, help each other, lift each other up. That is the only way we build a better world, better society, better future all together. Thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.